Previously on A Game Called Quest. On the wall, right behind where your stage had been, there's this small purple, almost translucent circle.
Seems our adventure's already begun.
You see, glinting in the grass, a purple circle, almost translucent, shiny, gem-like.
This is not righteous.
Then she realizes, just exactly what she has in her hands and how dangerous it is.
Very curious about something that I've never seen before.
There's this little purplish lavender shining circle on the ground.
Hello there. Just to see if it's alive, because he's never sure if something's alive or not. It could be a living thing, it could be a spirit, it could be something else. So,
and when you look back at the purple dot, it's gotten bigger.
Yeah, I scooped that up.
Someone's gonna bend down and sort of...
I curiously approach it.
As you reach down to pick up the object in the grass, it gets bigger.
What the heck is this purple dot?
It gets even bigger, and you take a few more steps closer until you're almost right up against it. It grows, and it grows, and it grows. And as we gather around the table, the camera pans down underneath, beyond the legs of the table, beyond the legs of the chair, to where we see kicking feet underneath and tapping toes, and a small purple, translucent dot glowing on the carpet. And then it all goes black. Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to A Game Called Quest. We're so glad to have you back with us this week. I'm Rose, your real-life guide for this podcast, not to be confused with the fictional guide of the game that happens within the game. Oh boy, this is confusing. I'd like to make two quick announcements before we get started. The first is that A Game Called Quest is an actual play audio drama of a TTRPG called Quest. And with it being the holiday season, I'd just like to give a quick plug saying that Quest has just released a whole bunch of hard copies of their book that you can find on their website. The website will be included in the description box. The second thing I'd like to say is that there is in this episode a brief description of something that does resemble a panic attack. I put the timestamp in the description box as well, so if you'd like to skip it, that's fine. You can totally do that. Lastly, and technically this isn't an announcement, so... I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for listening. We're so glad to have you as a part of our adventuring squad going on this bizarre and hilarious journey with us. So please sit back in your chair, on your run, while you're doing your laundry, and let's get this game started. Our story continues around the ovular wooden table in Maya's dining/game room. A room filled with the soft tapping of feet on carpet, the ruffling of papers, and the organizing of dice. We start with an overhead shot of the table with four acquaintances making awkward small talk as they find their seats around the table. We zoom in on each face as we circle the table and see a combination of nerves, excitement, and maybe a bit of confusion. As everyone finds a seat, keeping the appropriate social distance, we get a look again at the Game Master's face. She stares off into space for a moment, her eyes glazing over as she looks out the window. After a moment, she snaps back to reality. Okay, so as you guys grab some snacks, everybody sits down at the table. Maya jingles the dice and goes and throws one to each of the people that don't have one. As she tosses the dice, she rubs her forehead after setting it and holds the side of the table for a second and takes a few deep breaths.
You okay?
Yeah, sorry, I have a headache. But we're gonna have a great game anyway.
Are you sure you still want to play?
Oh, absolutely. I really need this. And she gets a glass of water from the recovered pitcher that is now refilled and just chugs it really quick, puts it down on the table, and then goes over to her Game Master station. So the Game Master station is basically 3 sheets of cardboard that she set up in kind of a round where she keeps all of her stuff. And they're all fancily painted and decorated with 3D foam core and stuff like that, and they're painted all with gold and little bits of purple, kind of a lavender violet-y color throughout. She shows you guys she has the Quest game book, which listeners who have played Quest will know what that looks like. Otherwise, basically just picture a classic any type of RPG book, and she takes it out and she puts it on the table in case anybody needs it.
And then she shows you guys, she like kind of smiles sheepishly, and she goes, guys, I think I might have gone a little bit overboard on this. And she pulls out from behind this like giant binder that is like, so it was a binder, but it is now also completely decorated in to look like an ancient tome, basically. And on the front, it says Beyond the Veil on the front of it in like purple letters, and it's got like a little like purple stone on the front. And she just kind of like rolls her eyes at herself and goes, I know that this is a little overkill, but like I think I went a little bit to town on the arts and crafting. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, you really went for the triple-double there. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like it. And she goes, so does anybody have any questions before we get started or anything that you're confused about? I know you guys all sent me your characters, and we've talked about like all the stories and their involvement in the world and like their weapons and their abilities and stuff like that.
We've already gone over safety rules, such as the out of bounds topics, so things that we just aren't going to address during the game, and you have the list of those. We have off camera, which are topics that are not completely off limits, but will only happen off the camera or out of the game or be alluded to. And then we have the stop sign, which is something that can be used at any time by saying stop sign in order to stop where we are and either completely let a topic go or have a discussion about it and figure out how we can do it that is safe for you. This is basically to make sure that everybody feels safe at all times during the game.
Does anybody have any questions before we get started?
Yeah, like, do we all breathe as a group or anything? To kind of relax our way into this?
Go ahead and make a roll. See if you can convince Maya to do group breathing.
17.
All right, so Maya smiles and goes, absolutely. I wouldn't possibly think about starting a game without a group breathing exercise. Everybody, please close your eyes.
Gray closes his eyes and puts his hand out into the center of the table.
She doesn't see. Her eyes are closed. And she says, I'm so glad that we're all going to be playing together today. It means a lot to me to have such good friends here together with me at the table. You guys all mean a lot to me, and this game means a lot to me, so I hope it will mean a lot to you too. Namaste.
Suri is just crying. And just at that, she just like starts crying. She's like, I just love you, you know? I just want you to know that, okay?
Maya opens one eye and goes, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Just feeling the love, you know? Just vibing.
She smiles and puts a hand on her heart and gestures towards you and goes, and mouths love you too.
Aww.
Anybody else have anything they want to do during our group breathing exercise?
Gray bounces his hand down a little and then up to the sky and is like, all right, go mountain goats.
Go mountain goats. Maya just laughs.
Oh, Maya, I sorry to interrupt, the breathing session and everything, but I do think I thought of a question that I did have that I think is important. Since Thorn's going to be starting out with an animal partner, should I start with less adventure points than everybody else? Should I start out with 4 less adventure points than everybody else? Because I don't think it would be fair if I start out with all the adventure points and then because I'm using an ability that it's a big ability. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear ya. I think kind of based on what everybody else has had certain types of experiences that have led them up to this moment, it can be assumed that they also would have been spending points and gaining them. So I think I'm gonna say that you don't need to take a point away for that. But of course, in using that ability again, you will have to take a point away, and potentially there will be times when you need to spend a point in order to have the bird do certain things. So I think it's fair for you to just keep the same amount of points that you have. I don't think it's going to make things super duper uneven.
Okay, I just didn't want anybody to think I was cheating or anything.
No, of course not. You have the GM's permission. And she goes, and speaking of the GM, obviously, like, I'm the guide, I'm in charge here, but I do abide by the rule of cool. So if any of you guys have things that you want to try, of course, you can always try them. And we're gonna experiment with the rules a little bit together. This game is really flexible and it's great for new time players. So I think it's gonna be a good one for us all to play together. Are you guys ready to get started? And she opens the her game book. We definitely see she sets it up like facing upward, so you guys can. She just turns over the cover, and you see the little purple stone fade behind the game screen.
Right, let's do this.
I'm nervous.
It's okay. You don't have to be nervous. It's going to be great. Yeah. So Maya, like I said, she opens her game book. She touches her forehead again. Looks a little bit. You see like a little haze in her eyes for a second, but then she shakes her head and she begins to speak. Your story begins at the Vale of Vikara, a translucent silken portal between planes. From the mossy dirt where the vale meets the worldly plain, to the protective forest that surrounds it. And as she's talking, the table starts to rattle. What do you do?
How bad is the rattling?
It's not too bad. It's just like almost as if somebody's like shaking their leg under the table. But it is like the dice are moving around a little bit.
Wow, Maya, you really went all in on all this stuff. I'm loving the extra, virtual effect.
When you look over at Maya, she's just staring straight ahead. And she has paused at the end of a sentence, but she's just staring straight ahead. And she then continues to speak. From the mossy dirt where the vale meets the worldly plain, to the protective forest that surrounds it, you will find plain traversing adventurers and guards protecting the realm from multiversal monsters. And now the lights change color. They turn purple. And she says the same sentence a few times. And the table starts shaking. Like, now it's not just like somebody's leg under the table anymore. Now the table's like really rattling. What do you guys do?
Maya, it's Gareth. Can you hear me?
Ooh, this is like the one time when I was 7 years old and we played with the Ouija board. And it was like this goofy like mechanism thing. I bet there's something under the table. Maya, this is so cool. I'm so into it.
Do you look under the table?
No.
Okay. Never mind then. Maya just goes, she says the same sentence again, and then she says, in this plane, magic is common. Danger comes in many forms, and daily life differs from village to village. She looks down and then looks up, and her eyes are purple.
I'm gonna try to slap it out of her.
Yeah, go ahead and make a roll.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's so aggressive.
7.
Okay, that's a tough choice, which means you succeed in the action, but there is a cost. So you will be able to, like, slap the purple out of her eyes for at least a moment. But either you see something that is very, very disturbing, or she is annoyed that you did that. Like, it hurts her a little bit.
Let's see something that I didn't want to see.
Okay. So as you're shaking her, you try to shake her from the front and it doesn't work. And then you shake her from the back. And as you go around to the back, you see under the table, there's this purple, lavender, translucent circle.
You guys, there's a thing under the table. There's a thing under the table!
And Maya shakes her head and she goes, what's going on? I can't. And she starts hyperventilating in her chair and falls onto the floor.
She's going into shock. Is any one of you a doctor?
No, what? I've seen this before. It's like sports fatigue. Sometimes when you do too much, like, just physical activity. So we gotta lay her down. And if anybody has, like, some Gatorade or something, then,
Her eyes are purple, you lanky fool!
Oh, come on. It's probably some trick she's doing. You know how into nerdy stuff she is? This is probably just all fake. It's all special effects.
Her eyes just started magically turning purple?
It's colored contact. She probably put it in real fast.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Zach wants to look under the